y'all. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Emerald the Gem. I know it's been like a long minute since I've been on here, but I'm very excited to be here with you guys today because for those who know me, they know that February is my favorite month because it's Black History Month. And so I thought, why not I start a series on my channel to celebrate Black businesses and Black entrepreneurs. So for the entire month, I will have a series called Black Business Spotlight. And today I'm very excited. I have my first ever guest on my channel, like ever. And I found out that he's from Oakwood. And could find out that he didn't know that I was from Oakwood. So this is just gonna be like a good get to know each other. And for the people who are watching, get to learn about some new brands that you probably haven't heard of. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce y'all to my first guest for this series, God Base. Welcome to the
Yes,
channel. Welcome,
yes,
welcome,
ma'am. Yes,
welcome.
ma'am.
Share with you your name and where you're from. And we already said what school you go to, but just for the
hmm
people to know your classification.
hmm So you guys may have know I am the owner of God Base. My name is Chase Brown, and currently I am from Worcester, Massachusetts. Obviously, we both go to Oakwood, and my classification as right now is a junior.
Oh,
Yes,
oh, so you were in my class.
yes.
Okay, class of 24.
hmm
Okay, nice, nice. So, just a little background on how I discovered you. I was randomly on Instagram, like so random,
hmm
and I saw a picture of like a photo shoot, and I recognized some people in the photo shoot. So I was like, oh, what is this? I'm seeing all these Oakwood students. I'm like, okay, let me check this out. So I clicked the profile, comes to find out it's a business called God Based. I'm like,
hmm
oh, okay, I like the name. That already caught my attention because I have an interest for Christian based brands, and hopefully in the far future or near future, depending, I will be able to start my own Christian brand. And so I was like,
hmm
okay, I like this. I wanted to follow, looking through the pictures. And so when I came out with this idea to start this series for my channel, I was like, yeah, I have to interview them. I need to learn. I need to show this to the world because there aren't really a lot of Christian-based brands. With all that being said, I want to know
hmm
what inspired the name God Based.
Ooh.
Hmm.
So that's a funny thing. I was in a phase where I was trying to create a clothing brand. I didn't know what type of name it was be. I was just coming up with random names. I was trying to see what could capture the public's eye. I had a conversation with my big brother, and I told him that I want a Christian. I want to like probably go to the Christian area. It pretty much like might not make sense to other Democrats. So with that, I had a conversation with him, and I said I want to do a Christian brand, and it's God. I want something God based related, and he said to me, just call it God based. So I was like, wait, hold up. I was like, oh no, wait, you're onto something. And then he made like the slogan called "It's bigger than me. It's God based." So
Hmm.
I was like, I had to write it down. And this was back in 2021, where obviously the pandemic was going on and so forth. So I just started to go onto the whiteboard and just list out the name and just connect, make it pretty much like a mind map and see what are some things I can connect it with, to make it more aesthetically pleasing. What can help with the consumers, give them value back, and also into the Christian community at the same time. So yeah.
Hmm. Wow. And that goes to another question that I've pondered. What made you not go towards the secular world, I guess, of fashion?
Yeah.
So, why did you go for the Christian based brand pretty much? Why not, just have like the Christian values, but not really put it forth in your clothing or in your brand, in your statement?
Hmm. Mm. Well, currently, I've been doing music. I'm a music producer, and just by seeing the other circular world where, a lot of people were drinking, smoking, and I did almost go into that path where I was about to get into the industry where it was just a lot of negativity and so forth. So I felt like there's a need where I want to just back away from that and do something a little bit creative. And this was, I always wanted to do a clothing line since 2017, but I didn't know
Hmm.
like I was going to do a Christian clothing line because with my talents and my goals, I always want to make sure that I'm doing something Christian related. Like everything that I do, whether it's sports, obviously music, and
Hmm.
till today, right now, I'm just doing a clothing. Everything is just related into glorify God.
That's good. And I love that that is, the mindset behind it, because I've noticed some kids in our generation, we might have grown up in the church, or maybe we're finding out about, being a Christian, that type of lifestyle. And then we kind of hide it from the world. So I like art, as you can see in the
Hmm.
background. I
Yeah.
am learning about I'm learning about different artists and art pieces. And so for this next question, how would you paint a picture of your childhood?
Of
What
my
would it look
childhood.
like? Hmm.
Ooh. Ah, man. It'll probably be a blurry sketch of everybody, of people who supported me and people who actually helped me in the position I am today. Like I would visualize myself in the center, like a little me, and
Hmm.
then probably my left or the right side would be my brother and my mom, and then pretty much obviously my family members behind me, and then friends, and much more, and especially my church members back at home. But it'll be more like a blurry image, almost
Hmm.
as if, and pretty much like in the center, it'll probably just be me, but a baby version of me.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's
mhm,
interesting. It's interesting. What would make it blurry and not clear?
not clear.
Why would it be blurry?
Mhm. I think it's just to show how, I don't know if I will describe it, if it'll make sense, but revealing the faces, it really doesn't matter. It only matters that there's there's literally a number of bodies surrounded, meaning like everybody together. So
Hmm.
that's what it really meant for me as for my childhood. Everybody was supporting me. Everybody was, making sure that I was educated and so forth.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it's not, so you're not focusing on the faces. You're just more
Right.
focused on like the overall view
Hmm.
because yeah.
Okay. 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 I like the
Mm-hmm.
visual. I like that. I like the visual. So, on the same lines of, having the people around you and your brother giving you the inspiration for the brand,
Mm-hmm.
um, along with him, or if there's anyone else besides him, what really inspired you to really start your brand, like really take it serious, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
So back in 2020, the pandemic year, I was working in the finish line. I had an idea where I wanted to do something, start a business because music production was a little bit slow, and in that area where I was kind of engaging with artists that I didn't want to deal with, or I've been to studio sessions where people will be smoking and so forth, and that's not my type of environment. So I feel like there was a need to do something else and something more Christian related and feel like I'm giving value to somebody else. So when I was working at Finish Line, I was in the back, stocking up shoes, taking sales, and I remember that I was boxing up all these clothes, all these shoes, and I was thinking to myself, like, if I had a brand, something, if I had like a brand that the amount of hours I'm putting into Finish Line, I feel like I could make a lot of money with this, but also just to give value back with others, just pretty much like do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So across from the, it was like in the mall, by the way, in the store I was in, there was like a little section where there was a designer. He was doing logos. His name is Carlos, and I want to give him a shout out. Uh, right now, he has like a Christian clothing line. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Charismata. So I shout
Okay.
out to him. He was the one that really helped me. He was the one that elevated my brand. He was the one
Mm.
that created the logo for me.
Okay.
And so I was seeing him across from my store, and I said, let me just talk to him, see what happens, see if he can like give me any and just about what a clothing line, what I can do with a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
So he was giving me some gist and so forth, and every single day I was coming back to him every single day, night in, night out, after my shift, on my breaks. And the funny thing is, he was the same age as me,
Mm-hmm.
22, and he was the one that was just giving me a whole list of how to start a logo and the concept of how to make a brand, because I was in the early stages where I said, okay, God base. I literally did not know what the concept was. I just wanted to make a Christian clothing line, but I didn't want to just add like an image where it has like prayer hands or just
Mm-hmm.
an
Right.
arrow or a random stuff. So he was the one that actually helped me flourish with that.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I feel like he was definitely put there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like that did not just happen by accident. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really incredible. That's really incredible. So I know you mentioned that you're a junior here
Mm-hmm.
at Oakwood University. And so I know that as being a student, you have classes and, projects and homework and such. So how is it to juggle being a CEO of a brand and also being a student? Because I know there has to be
Mm-hmm.
some type of challenge,
Yeah.
even just a little one. So
Mm-hmm.
what does that look like? Like what are the challenges that you face while juggling those two?
It is very difficult, especially the group that I'm in, because I do have business friends the same age as me. We usually be talking about how much sales we make and so forth. I be in class and my friend will be like, "Whoa, I just made $5,000 at like by that like last week or so forth, and this and that." And I'm out here on D2L answering answering somebody's discussions, and I know you know
Mm-hmm.
this too.
Yes.
So it really juggles my mind, and it's kind of it's a mix with frustration and complex perplexion, because sometimes I'll be questioning myself like, is it worth it just to be here or back at home trying to build a business? But at the same time, I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
Christian school environment where I can elevate my business here, but at the same time, if I leave or drop out, then what am I going to do back at home? Well, back at home, back at home, there's just a lot of negativity and a lot of old friends that I left back.
Mm,
So I knew that this was the best place for me to stay here in school and try to make sure that at the same time I'm polishing my skills, my business skills to understand the ins and outs of marketing or the ins and outs of what the consumer wants.
mm-hmm,
So at the same time, as an entrepreneur, it's really difficult because one day they say I need to lock in for schoolwork, and then another day I got to make sure that I'm making content. Another day I got to make sure I'm folding shirts or making new designs for the next couple of months or like the next season I'm gonna make. It's just a lot of things in mind, but also you have to make sure you have a strong mindset because
mm-hmm,
um, if you do not make sure that you don't have if you don't have your goals on paper or anything, you're just gonna be walking blindfolded, just trying to do stuff. And I've been through a lot of situations like that, and it was not so great. But I still make it work by just making sure that I'm putting school time and then with my business. So I'm making sure I'm doing that every single day rather than just doing school one week and then business
mm,
one week. I have to make
right.
sure because as an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7. You're not just working from this and that because with my mind, I usually think of I just think of a lot of concepts of like anything. I could see something and I could say like, "Oh, I like that material," or "I like the concept of someone sitting down or reading something," and I can capture that into my business.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little creative thoughts and all that, and then also too, I have to make sure I'm jumping back, with classwork and so forth. So
Right.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely sounds a lot, especially in having like that creative mind. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like it's on 24/7, 365 days. Like it's constantly moving, constantly thinking of new things and new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then on top of that, thinking about studying for a test, the
Yeah.
next upcoming week, having exams. So like with all that, the school aspect and the business aspect,
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned that, the negativity at home.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like just putting a pause on the brand, being like, I really gotta focus on the school, or
Oh, I never. Even
mm,
if I go through issues, I still pursue it because from 2021, I literally started in my room, and that was the year where I was going through a lot personally. But I knew that if I just keep going and see a visualization of where this can go, where as of right now, it went from a piece of paper, like literally in my iPad, just having the name to having it in my friend's store and online at the same time. So that's pretty much like the biggest accomplishment that I have so far, but there's still a lot of road that I know where I can get through because a lot of people love the material of the shirt or the clothing line. They love how oversized it is. They love how
mm,
it's Christian related. So I knew that I was getting a lot of bad reviews, and especially the brand that the second product that I released is called Lord Hear My Cry, where I I started to touch base on a lot of people's emotions with that, and just really healing with that. So I knew this actually benefited a lot of people, and I need to continue, even though if I'm going through struggle, I might put that through for the brand as itself. That's what I did with my second product,
mm-hmm.
which is right now.
Your perseverance of keeping the brand.
Mhm.
What did you learn about yourself during those difficult times throughout
Mm.
having the business?
I learned that I was very persistent and resilient uh, through every other challenge that I face, and still facing challenges right now. For example, once I first dropped the brand, I said you can buy on the website. That day, I had no sales. It discouraged me for quite a bit, but it was more like a learning curve, and I knew I have to overcome that. So once I really sat down myself and began to learn that skill and try to build that up, I began to consume more sales and then more ideas and products. Pretty much get the blood, pretty much get the brain working, and not be discouraged. Because as an entrepreneur, you can't just be focusing on one thing. You got to make sure that you're looking at other things on what you need to improve on, or and then jump back to that other problem and then fix it instead of
Mm-hmm.
just just being in a little corner and just because we don't, as an entrepreneur, you don't really have time to be discouraged or sad, because if you do, that's how the business collapse. Because if you can't conquer that right now, how are you going to conquer that if you have a whole corporation where you have at least 1,000 employees,
Mm-hmm.
looking up to you, because they're working for you and they're depending money from you. So, you know, there's really
Mm-hmm.
no emotions to really break down and so forth.
You're a music producer. You
Yeah.
produce music.
Hmm.
For the people who may not know really who you
Hmm.
are, it might be the
Yeah.
first time learning about, this Chase guy and this God based, what do you want them to know about you as Chase?
Mm. See, that's a good question. That's a really, really good question. I truthfully want people to know that I'm the type of person that I'm just very resilient, and I'll find a way to fix a situation that needs to be fixed, you know, by God's grace, you know, because, I'm only human, but with me, I usually find, even if like there's any obstacle around me, I always find a way to get past that. And my mom did point this out to me too, because she said that it doesn't matter if I'm going through a stump or whatever, I always find a way to climb back and pretty much conquer. So I really want people to know that I'm a very resilient guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Hmm.
resilient.
Hmm.
Okay, I really like that word has been, going on and on. Okay, resilient, resilient.
Hmm.
With God based,
Hmm.
what is the message that you want to convey with this brand?
Is community. I'm really pressing on that, especially as a Christian community. I don't know if you noticed that ever since the pandemic happened, we were segregated. We were not. I obviously we were in the new normal, and I feel like it was time to actually try to reconnect back with the community as itself, and especially the culture as well. We're so ego mindset, and the Bible did say that we will become lovers of ourselves. And I would say I fall into victim as like that, just constantly just post myself or whatsoever rather than including other people. So we're starting to be, and especially since in America it's just been colonized by that. And I truthfully want my brand to speak more volume on that, and to really bring everybody, not just through together, but through Christ together at
Mm-hmm.
the same time. So
Yeah,
that's pretty much what the metrics is for.
yeah, and that's good. I love that the emphasis on community because
Hmm.
I agree with you. When COVID started, you know. And me as the introvert, I honestly I was chilling for a good month. I ain't gonna lie, I was
Yeah.
big chilling. But after a while, we are human. Like we need people. Like God did not make us for us to be alone. I feel like that community aspect, that's very, very important. It's very, very important for us as people, as humans, no matter what gender or race, like community is really the key, one of the keys really to survival.
Hmm.
And so with that being said,
Hmm.
we are coming near to the end of this interview. But before we leave,
Hmm.
I have one more question. Now, for
Yeah.
those who know me, my name is Emerald the Gem, and I capitalized off of the gem part because Emerald is literally a gem. And
Hmm.
so for this channel, I want to start using these word gems. Any bits of, really thoughtful advice or any quotes or anything. So for this question,
Hmm.
this last question, are there any gems that you would like to leave the viewers, the listeners, anything that you want to impress on their hearts?
Mm. Mm. I would say this, and this might be very annoying and the most oversaturated word
Mm,
or phrase
okay.
or sentence. I would say it's just about being consistent. It's literally there's literally nothing to it. It's really being consistent. It may take a year, 2 years or so, or months, how long, whatever it takes, but as long as you're being consistent, you will make it there. I'm not saying I made it there, but I made it to stages where I didn't thought that I thought the name God Base would just be in my iPad or be in my friend's store selling right now. Like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't truthfully imagine unless I just been tunnel vision and just been consistent.
Consistency, guys. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that concludes the interview, and we just hit like literally just hit 35 minutes. So this was perfect. This is
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So thank you for being here on my channel. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for opening up. you know
Mm-hmm.
this is really as easy as people think it is, coming on here and talking about yourself, your
Yeah.
childhood and stuff. So I truly
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you accepting this invitation and being on this channel and being part of my Black History series, because the series is really all about uplifting Black businesses, no matter what type of business you have, and especially, me as a Christian, supporting my own Christian brands that are on my own campus. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I'll see you
And
actually on campus.
yeah. Yeah, most
um,
definitely.
yes, yes. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Also, before I close, be sure to check out his brand on godbased.com. And if you wish to follow him on Instagram, follow godbased.co. That is godbsd.co on Instagram. And don't be afraid to buy a little something. Go ahead and support. So, thank y'all for joining in. I will see you in the next episode, which will be released next Sunday on the 12th. Bye.